Let's start a new project. I have gathered already so many cool stuff to start with, but let's see what we can make with this all. Let's stay tuned. Okay guys, let's start a brand new project. So we have the flowers, the ribbons, all the little embellishments. I also have a nice surprise, and I have some butterflies and lace. Let's get started, but first, before we are going to start, I am going to cut out the cardstock pages. Those are 4 pieces. So that is my first thing that I like to do. I'm going to add that in a little bin so I can grab everything faster. So let's get into it. Okay guys, I'm gonna start making my tunnel page, and the end size is 11 by 734. So yes, we are gonna make a nice landscape big album. And I'm gonna make one in a second together with you. So I'm gonna use 2 A4 size papers, 21 by 29.5. I'm going to score 1/2 inch both long sides. We're going to glue these together, and then I'm going to cut this 11 inches. So I have just the nice, perfect, big size tunnel. The papers this time, normally I use Clairefontaine, and my previous project I use kangaroo. I'm still in my searching, testing papers. And I also have the IQ papers in 120 grams and a 160 grams. No idea if you can get it worldwide, but I'm just going to test these papers out. And I'm going to tell you what I feel about them. So my tunnels, I'm definitely going to make them with 160 grams, and the papers, pockets, going along, flip-flops, I will tell you if I'm going to use a 160 or the 120 grams. Why do I use 2 different weights of papers? Is that sometimes, especially if you're going to make a pop-up, this time I'm not going to make a pop-up, but if you're going to make a pop-up album, then you definitely need to squeeze the papers thinner to save the bulk. But I realized with making my pop-up, my first ever pop-up album, I just realized that it was so handy, because you're also going to use design paper gluing on your pockets and flip-flop pages, that if you're going to use the 120 grams for the activity pages, then it definitely saves the bulk for your ending up pages. So that is why I really like the combination in 160 gram papers and the 120 gram papers for the basic papers. That's never included in the kit. That you can search for your own. You can choose your own brand which you like to use. Well, this time I'm going to use the IQ color papers. Never used it before, so I'm curious how it folds and everything. So yeah, it's just my testing, but the Clairefontaine is still my #1 favorite. Kangaroo I also can suggest. It's a wonderful brand, but this time I'm going to use the IQ color. Alrighty, so let's make some tunnel pages. So I'm just going to grab my scoreboard, and like I said, I'm going to use the 160 gram, And I am just score 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to grab my second page. And then I'm also going to score. Fold this nicely. Here we go. You all know, well, I don't know if you all know, but I'm just getting back. I'm just back from my week holiday in Sardinia. Sardinia is an island in Italy, and I will tell you all about it. How I had it there. It was also my first groups holiday. So my first experience ever. I'm all gonna tell you doing this project. I also have made a little list so I don't forget anything to tell you. So yeah, I do have a lot to babble about. But yeah, like I always say, if you don't like me to chit chat, then you just can mute everything. But then you also don't have the explanations of the pages. So I'm just, my videos are always follow along. I show everything, I tell everything, at least I try. Not having a material list, not having a measurement list, not having a written tutorial, nope. Just have that, just show you everything. We're gonna use my fiscars for this. Yeah, I don't need to lift this, I know. Just to have this a perfect cut, I'm just gonna cut one piece off first. And then I'm just gonna measure this 11. And just cut this. And then I have my perfect tunnel. 11 by 7 3/4. Alright, so now I have two. We're definitely going to make a few more. How much, I don't know, but let's make 4 just to start with. Okie dokie. Okay guys, it's time to start with the first page. This is for me always the first thing, especially when I was away for a while. This is the part that I really miss about crafting. Creating the pages and then adding the design paper on it. That's just always what I miss. Alright, so we have big pages, so we have plenty to do. So when I'm gonna start on it, I'm gonna make first a big pocket. So let's see if I can make that with this one. Well, the first thing is, if we're gonna add our pages are in here, I don't want to make this too thick. So what I'm gonna start with, and these are the papers that I have left for my first set. I'm gonna see where the black, yep, this one, the black and white is. I'm gonna start with a strip, 1/2 inch. That's the piece I want to add white here. Just to create a little less bulk. And we have plenty space. Which distress ink I'm gonna use? You would say black. But I think I'm just gonna go further with the gathered twigs, just a brown color. Because I think we do have enough black already. But you can use any color, guys. You can use any color. I'm just gonna go further with brown. Any brown color will do. You don't have to buy exactly the same as I did. Let's see if my glue is still working for me. Oh, it's still nice. After a few weeks. So let's get started with the first design paper. Gluing on here. Perfect. Love it. Simple but effective. Alright, so now I'm gonna create a nice big pocket. It would be nicer if I would go all the way, but let's first see how this goes, because this paper is pretty wide as it is, and then the A4 size will not work. So I'm just gonna go with the flow. Let's see how this ends. So we're gonna add a 1/2 inch fold line for the bottom and 1 for the side. Let's fold first the side. Burnish this down. Make a mark, full size, and let's score. And this is, by the way, the 160 gram. I think this pocket needs a lot of weight. So we are going to create a nice big pocket with, this is not handy, the inner is gone, but sometimes I like to use a smaller size of tape, but let me put that away. Alright, so I like to add tape, all sizes. Here we go. For those who do not know, this tool is asked very many times what tool it is. It is a stamping tool, and for this one it's a Crea Motion brand, but if you Google on your Google website, on your internet, if you Google stamp tool with handle, then you're definitely gonna see more brands of this one. I bet the cheaper ones are working exactly the same as this one. My mom just had this, and you can normally switch this with bigger acrylic pieces, but I glue it down so it stays on. Yeah, my mom had this from a flea market and she did not do anything with it, so I thought, oh my gosh, that's a wonderful tool for the tape. So I glued it down. Normally you can remove the handle and place it down on bigger acrylic pieces, but this is the one I use and I just love it. But I know there are other brands. Alright, so I think this pocket is nice and big, so I'm just gonna add this on. I'm gonna start with the bottom. Let's flip this around. Alright, so we have our 1/2 inch strip. There we go. Tape. I do love to use tape for the bottom. Why is that? Is if I don't, then this hinge right here, this piece right here, will interfere everything what I put inside. That will stop this. So my tag or card, whatever I'm going to put in here, will not go further. And I don't want that. So that is why I'm going to use just simple sensitive painter tape. You also can use other tape, whatever you're gonna like. You can use smaller one. This one is a little bit bigger. This one's from the Action, just a cheap Euro store, cheap store. See, and if I now put something in here, see? And this is thinner, so this will definitely slide in your tag. That's why I use the tape. Okay, that's explainable. Now let's glue down this pocket. I did not use anything here. You can use a fancy notch if you want. Don't know if I'm going to use some, but maybe I will. But for now, with the first page, I did it. Alright, so our first pocket is ready. Next step. Before I'm gonna go for my next step, I'm gonna explain a little bit my jewelry, what I have on today. This one is a bead bracelet, and I bought it on my holiday in Sardinia, and I noticed so many stores had these jewelry, this bead jewelry, so many earrings, rings, bracelets, necklace, purses. Oh my god, so many. I really had so much attention to buy a lot. I also have one for my mom, but then a black one and a bigger one. I already gave it her, so I can't show you. This ring is also from Sardinia. I noticed many jewelry had this image, and we also have this in this kind, so it's not a, oh my gosh, where is it? I do have it also in my, here, this one. See, that's almost the same one. It's just not the same one, but almost. But I see a lot of this image using in jewelry on Sardinia, and this ring is also from it. It's not an expensive one, it's just a cheap one, but I could not resist because I have this in my collection. So this is my own ring, but this one is also from a holiday. This I already had. This one is also from Sardinia. It's RVS, in, how you call that, stainless steel ring. This one I also got, and this one is already of my own. It's 2 spoons. So that is my jewelry for this moment. I do have another one, a bigger one, a white one, with also a beautiful image on. And I had 1, 2, I had 4. A white one. Oh, and a pink one. I also had a pink one. So that is what I got from my holiday Sardinia. Alright, so that is a little bit what I'm explaining. I think I'm really cute with the papers that we're going to use right now. Okay, if you were interested. Okay, so let's continuing. I am gonna make a big flip. Let's just see. For my first page, I definitely gonna stick with the 160 just to see how it goes. Let's create the same size. Let's make a hinge. Here we go. So from here we can do quite a lot. Alright, so let's see. I want to make, we can go till here. So this goes open. Or shall we make this first completely? Let's check what is, yeah, 4.5 inch smaller. What shall we do? Wait just a second. I'm gonna make another one. Same size as this one. 2 giant flipable pages. Same size. Let's just see what we want. 1/2 inch. This does not need a lot of little gussets because it's big, and big means that you don't need to use that much. Let's see. If I'm gonna glue this on here, and then I like to end it here. Then I definitely want to make another 1/2 inch strip with this one. Let's see. Let's make this shorter. Go. I need to watch my camera because I noticed my previous project that I did again sometimes, that I pushed the button when I wanted to record, but then I did not push the button correctly. So my previous project I did had somewhere, not that much, thank God, but you're gonna push the button when you're gonna record, but I didn't. So what I record was not necessary, and what I did not record was necessary. Okay, so that's my worst nightmare, because I can't go back. I can't go do over a page once an album is complete. So that is my worst nightmare. And what will happen, what will happen sometimes, yeah, that was the word that I was looking for. Unfortunately, that still happens sometimes. Alright, so this one I definitely want here. Okay, so let's glue that on. So we still can do a lot on this page. Let's glue this down nice and square, nice and tight. Okay, so we have a big pocket and a big fold out to the right, and now we still have a big page. Okay, now first, I still have this one, I know, but first I'd like to have, I think, a pocket right here, I don't know, so we can split this a little bit. Okay, does that make sense? Just wait, give this a rest for just a second. Now I am gonna go grab my 120 gram to make a nice pocket. So let's give this a 1/2 inch. How wide do we want that? Let's see. How much do I want to save from this page? At least a 6 inch. I want to save. So I have left a 3/4. Okay. So let's fold this. And then we're gonna make another fold line, a 3/4. Make this at the 0 and a 3/4. Let's cut 1/2 inch. And then we're gonna make the bottom as well. Okay, then we're gonna decide how large this pocket needs to be. I do like a nice deep one, not a too undeep one, because we're gonna flip this, and everything, if you're gonna make a too undeep pocket, we'll flip this to the left, to the right, and maybe even out. So I do like to have a nice big deep pocket that whatever you're gonna tag or card you're gonna put in here will stay there. So I think we can make a 6-inch. I think that's a nice size. Alright, 6-inch. Fold this. Let's cut this a 6-inch. If you want to make a nice notch, then this is the time to make a nice notch of your pocket. If you want. Let's see if I want a nice notch. Do we have any tags? I don't think so. I don't think in this collection that has a nice swirl or a nice shape. No, I don't think so. It's all very straight or with just a round corner. So I don't have anything that I can use in this collection. Not this time. Maybe if you have a previous collection of mine that we used earlier, then you can use that always. Of course, I do have saved many of my edges that you can use. But for those who are new, I'm not going to use those. So if you want to make a notch, let's see. Yeah, you can use anything, of course. You just can use a round one like this. If maybe you have a round punch that you can use, but I only have square ones, and these ones are round. These ones are just round. You also can use this, by the way. That's also a possibility to just use. Why not? But it's all up to you. Let's see what I can do is, if you have a round punch just like this, then you already have, well, I could do this in another color like this. Then you can use this already for a nice notch. Let's cut this 1 by 1 so you will have a nice size. See, now you already have, but let's cut this one as well. So I cut a 1 by 1 piece, and I use my round corner punch to create this. Let's see where the middle is. Bum, bum, bum. And then you will have a nice simple notch. It's as simple as it gets, and it's the same shape as the one for those who have the envelope corner. No, not the envelope for real memory keepers. It is quite the same. So okay, we do need a piece of paper to create the pocket. Let's see which color that I like. Yeah, we can use this one for the back. Why not? Let's just stay with this one. So I'm gonna cut a 1-inch piece of this one. Let's cut this in this. You already can cut right away too. One for the top, one for the bottom, if you want. Alright, so I'm going to tell you how you're going to cut this. Just place this on the back. This is going to be right here on the top. So just place this at the back. Place something that holds the paper. but the top one is the same as the black. So we have the little space each side, but the top is the same. And now you just can cut this piece off, or you're going to use your envelope punch notch thing. That's also easy, but for those who does not have it, you just can make it on your own. Alright, here you have the same cutout. Just use your edges to make it nice. Let's just glue this down. And then you have a nice notch with a black edge all the way around. There you go. Now we can use, well, you can use this one right here and then glue down, or you can use the same at the bottom and fill this up. It is all to you, all up to you. So that is my little explanation how to use a nice notch. Alright, let's glue this down. On our page. So we have our single page nicely at the end of the page. And for this one as well, I'm going to use the tape, of course. Sometimes my tape does not tear, but with a little muscles we can. Alright, glue this pocket down. Here we go. And there you go, your little pocket. I think I'm gonna use this right here. What do you think? Is that nice? Or would it be better if I did cut it this direction instead of this? Let's just use this for the bottom. Then I always can cut another strip. But too much diagonal black and white stripe is not cool. Oh, I also could make a little tuck spot for this. Totally forgot. Well, we can do that next time. The more the better. I always say the more the better. The more spots the better, where you can add little tags, little notes. I love it. Never get bored to make an album where you can fill up all kind of things. Alright, so little pocket is done. So now we're gonna create our design paper later. So now we have this to fulfill. So we have still a big page here, big pockets. Alright, what's next? Yeah, we do have still this page. What's next? Okay, for our next step, I am gonna cut one more strip to mix it all nice and usable. Let's see, let's cut this the same size. White you don't see. So it's a nice combination of using a white pencil and a black marker because of the darkness of the paper. Definitely can recommend that you use both. Alright, glue this on. this goes right along this pocket. Definitely make sure that this is the same. 5/8. Yep, nice straight. Alright, and now we have here enough space to create, I think, 2. Let's see if we can make that. Here we go. Can we make 2? Well, the first one I definitely gonna make it fully. So just place this right along. Cut this down. Use your tape or glue, whatever you prefer using. Place this down, nice, fitting. Then we have a leftover, a bonus, and that one we're gonna place on the other side. The more, the better. Sometimes less is more. But if you like activity pages just like me, then more is always better. Alright, you can choose if you wanna, yeah, I do like that, a right and a left one. Or you can place this as well on here, that's make it as a book. But I like it left and right, so it's totally up to you. You can change whatever you like. It's your project, so if you like to change anything, be my guest. Okay, so we have a nice opening pocket with a bonus. Yeah, and of course we're gonna do a pocket on the inside as well. I have my leftover paper, 120 gram. This is still a 160, but you can use whatever you like, of course. So let's make a pocket. 1/2 inch for the sides, 1/2 inch for the bottom. And then you always like to stay away at least 2 millimeters from all fold lines. Score and cut. Okay, how deep do we want this? How deep do I want this? Okay, well, this one is inside, so it's not needed to make a very deep one, but I think a 4 is a nice size, a nice 4-inch pocket. You can make a notch if you want. It's all up to you if you want to do that. You do have all options for yourself. Let's choose the middle. This is for me pretty much the middle. There you go. Same thing as we did earlier. Choose a color that you like to use. gonna stick with the blue. Alright, let's make this pockets. And as promised, I'm going to tell you a little bit, not a little bit, I'm going to try to tell you a lot about my Sardinia experience. Our first groups holiday. How was it? Well, first of all, I need to say I was so nervous. I was absolutely nervous. A few weeks before we went on this trip, I was so nervous because, yeah, am I a people person? Yeah, actually not that much. I have to confess, I'm not a people person. I like to be on my own. I like to have my own bubble. I like to sit on my own. I like the quietness in my head. But of course I do like to chit chat, but then one-to-one, not in a group. But yep, we booked a groups holiday just to see if it's something for us. So I was nervous. I was nervous. I was afraid that I had no peace, that I had constantly people talking to me. That I did not had any chance of walk by myself, to see something by myself, but that was absolutely not. I had my moments. I did not had any experience, bad experience. Nope. It was actually quite nice. It was cozy, it was comfortable, and most of all, God, it felt like I was on a family trip with grandmas, grandpas, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, definitely. And I don't have all those. So, yeah, I definitely felt. The youngest one was 49. And the oldest one was 82. You can imagine. And good heaven. All people were so good with, well, exercise. Well, I must say, those two people who were 82 were women. They walk faster than me. So yeah, I was pretty amazed by it. Like, oh my gosh! But the first impression is never the good one, because when I saw the older people, well, God, I'm 51, guys, so I can't say if it's 82 or 51. It's 30 years. So yeah. For me, I thought, oh my gosh, there were so many old people. That was my first impression. Like, oh my goodness. But I take my words back. They were so world travelers and very good health and everything. And I think a group's such a organized groups holiday, I think only people book that if they are good with their legs, if they are good with their knees, if they are healthy in their head and everything. I don't know, I have no clue. If I say anything wrong, then please, I apologize. But I think that, because everyone was feeling like the same age, everyone. Yeah, I think age does not matter. I think that's the safest thing to say. Yep, it was. So, here is my pocket. Don't forget what I was doing. The pockets. Let's glue that inside. Stay away 2 millimeters from the fold lines. And I am using the tape again. Here we go, place that back. And here we have our nice big pockets. and now this still flips nicely back. Okay, so we have our big first page. Let's see, what else can we do? Okay, let's see. I was thinking, okay, so we have this and this, but how we're gonna do something. I am gonna grab a 160 that will fit in the tunnel. So we are gonna make it a slightly smaller, let's say 2 to 3 millimeters smaller. Then we are going to make a fold line. I think a 2-inch is a nice size, don't you think? There we go. So this goes in that tunnel. Completely till the fold line, and then this is going to be I think we do need a little space. I'm just gonna test it out, guys. If it's nothing for you, then we're gonna skip it, but let's just say that we're gonna do this. Yeah, we definitely need some space, so I go for a 1/4. A 1/4 extra fold line. So we have some gussets. And slides in, and then this is actually going to be the closure, so it feels like a big pocket. And of course we can make this shorter, but I think it's not necessary because it comes till, let's say, here, so it's far enough, so it's a nice extra page that goes in here. Do we like to make it a little wider? I don't know. Did I make it too small? No, I think it's a nice size. I think it's a nice size. So why do you think this as a closure? So we can make a nice button here as a closure. Then this holds everything down. This piece right here. So you open it up just like that. You open this up, you have the pocket. Close this down, and then this slides open like that. This you don't need particularly, is not needed to have this as a closure. But this I definitely want. This I definitely want to have a closure. Okay, so this is going to be in that binding system. Then we have here the closure, this one. I think maybe I'm going to close this as well. Maybe, I don't know. And then this slides open. Then we have here our big pockets. And then you still have here something that we can do. Or just a nice photo frame. Okay. I think this is not that bad. Not that bad at all. What do you think? I'm just gonna watch my tags for a second. See which one that we can use. I like to use a big one. Well, you can use a small one for here. Let's see. I can use, no, this one is this direction. Okay, let me choose a little bit what I want. So I definitely want to have that swirl. You can use any picture for here, whatever you like. Nice, I like it. You also can use a black and white one. It's totally up to you which one. You can stay in the blue vibe. And what about using these as the swirl? That is nice. You also can, for those who want to make this as well as a closure, we can do something that brings this. No. Alright, let my brain work for a second. Okay guys, so I thought why not first do some designing. So first I finished this pocket with using the black and white stripe and this card postal. I like it. Oh, it's blurry again. No, 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 no. Okay, focus, focus, even when I'm going out. Alright, so, and then of course this background. Love, love, love that. So, that is a little bit how... Maybe if I'm going to do it a little closer, maybe that's better. Alright, so I'm going to continuing first with the outside. I'm still struggling with this, but I think I'm definitely going to add this, but I have an idea. Alright, so I want to add this in here, and then I like this to be the string closure. Is that an idea? Oh my gosh, what am I doing? I have no clue. Anyways, so what I'm first going to do is first I'm gonna cut this out. Let's see if I don't have a, well, I do have a corner punch, but that will not fit, I guess. Almost, but not completely. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this one out by hand. Yes, I'm crazy. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. But I'm just gonna do my best to cut this out, and otherwise I'm gonna do that with my scissor if this is not working. Let's see. How did I do? Not completely loose. Does not need to be perfect, but I do my best, my stinky best. Alright, it's almost loose. So my scissor is helping a little bit. Here we go. Alright, not bad at all. Try to smooch the edges so everything what's a little bit off is smooched away. Alright, not that bad at all. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna glue this piece down on a few layers of black. So burnish it down and just cut it out. And if you like, you can add a little black edge if you want. I always like that, but it needs to be fitting right here. So I'm just gonna cut down tiny little black edge so it overlaps just a tiny little bit. Alright, there we go. So now it's a bit sturdier, so this one we're gonna need. Alright, first find a piece of paper that you like to have as an underground, and I do like this purple one. It's amazing because it also comes back in the little image, so that is a little bit what I like to come back. Checking if I'm still focused. Good heaven, it struggles, but you, for those who follow me longer than today, knows already that, yeah, sometimes it is a struggle. Alright, I do have this corner punch U, so I need to do that again for this piece. Alright, smudge the edges. I'm still thinking if I'm not gonna use the black ink, maybe, I don't know, but still in my brown vision to see how it works. Alright, check if you have cut this nicely, and it does. Alright, I'll put this away. Alright, now what I like, this does not pop up really as I like it to be. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to glue this down on a piece of white. It's a very thin, cheap print paper, 80 grams. The lightest, the thinnest one that I have. I also use this for my patchwork pages. Alright, so just a nice little white edge I want. It gives this image a really nice pop-up. Could be a little less thick. This one. There we go. All right, done. Let's see. I just like this nicely in the middle. Glue this on. Check if this is even and the top and bottom, and if that's okay, then you just can burnish everything down. Alright, let's see. Here we have our clock. We do need to have this nice and straight, so that's this. Alright, so let's check it out. Let's grab a little blad. punch a little hole. Here we go. Well, I do have this one. Keeps it for that you have some space. So it's a little alright, put that on. So this chipboard gives me some space in between the circle and the paper. As you can see right here. Oh, focus. Good heaven. Focus, 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 focus. Yep, if you can see that, it lifts this a little up. Alright, that does this just a simple, you have a leftover piece. Alright, and then we can use this as our closure. Alright, let's see. Let's glue this on. I like it. Alright, put this on. Here we go. Nice black edges everywhere. I really hate that this is constantly not focusing. Hate it. I hate it! But my camera is not that old. It's not that old, and I am still refusing to get a new one because I think it will still keep doing it. Alright. Anybody has any thought how I can fix that? See, now it's working. Okay. Alright, so that I really like how it turns out. Now I'm gonna focus on what I like here. Then I'm gonna add the thread under the paper. So I'm not gonna make a round one here, just a little piece of thread right here. Okay, we can want to make sure that this thread will hold. So I'm gonna reinforce this a little bit. Piece of thread, let's see who it is. You can use any piece of thread. I like to use a wax thread, just like to use that, but you can use anything that you prefer. Cotton is also a very nice thread to use. Alright, put that through the hole. Alright, then we have here the little legs, and I'm gonna put that around, and then I'm just going to make this tight. Love my little hobby. My little hobby hammer. Sorry for the noise. Alright, let's close this down. Here we go, and now you have your little threads. And at the end, when everything is done, you have your closure. It does not have to be this long. Okay, that's the idea. So now I'm gonna use a piece of paper to cover this, and when front and back, and when I am, I'll come back. Ooh, this would be cool, but it's not enough, but it would be cool if I could use this. Can I not use this? Maybe with some purple here. See if how that looks. I think I like to have the blue coming back more on this side. I'm still gonna use this if I'm gonna use this. Alright. This is too much. Let's see which one I am gonna use.